The Invest in Her podcast is brought to you in part by Wells Fargo Bank. Hi, I'm Catherine Gray, founder of She Angel Investors and co-founder of the She Angels Foundation. I'm also the podcast host of Invest in Her and an award-winning producer, author, and TEDx speaker. Our show, Invest in Her, features phenomenal female founders and funders. As you know, women receive less than 2% of venture capital funding. Our series is about accelerating the funding of women by connecting them to funding resources. Let's meet today's guest. Welcome to this week's episode of Invest in Her. I'm your host, Catherine Gray, founder of She Angel Investors and co-founder of the She Angels Foundation. And we're super excited today to talk about a new entity that's great for both founders and funders. And so let's welcome to the show, Cheryl Kellond, the co-founder of Play Money. Hi, Cheryl. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing today?
Doing great. I just watched the video on your site, and I'm super excited to talk about Play Money and how people can find this. So let's talk about what you guys are doing to help bring together both entrepreneurs and investors. I love this. It's like, we need something like this. I think it's genius and super excited to talk about it. I also want to mention that we, of course, can never endorse any vehicle about investing, but we can make you aware of it so you can investigate it yourself and see if it's for you. So I love this concept. And let's talk about what the concept is.
Yeah. So think about Play Money as Instagram for angel investing. We started the company about a year ago, and it really came out of my work as an active angel and as an active mentor to early stage founders.
And let me interrupt you for 1 second. I want to say, forgot to mention that you are a 3-time founder, 3-time Ironman, and 4-time mom, right?
You betcha.
I love that in your bio.
One of those has been the hardest. I'm not sure some days, actually.
Right. That's the Iron Woman part.
Yep, exactly. Oh, I appreciate you shouting that out.
Yeah, well, that's impressive because you're coming from a founder perspective of actually having been in that space, right? Is that what made you decide to create Play Money?
It's funny because it came equally from both directions, as my experience as an angel trying to build a diversified portfolio and really starting to understand the math behind angel, but in parallel, knowing what I had gone through as a founder to raise, but more importantly, what I'm seeing founders now go through to raise. So, Catherine, angel is one of the most powerful forms of capital. Right. I like to say I'm an athlete. So first check calls game. If you write those first checks, you get to decide what problems get solved and who gets to solve them. So at my core, I think there needs to be more diversity of people writing checks.
Boy, you and I really agree on that. That's what our movie Show Her the Money is about.
Exactly.
And my TED Talk called Fund Women Save the World is about how the research literally shows that people tend to invest in people they identify with. So if there's no women sitting at the table deciding who gets the money, if there's no people of color, if there's no LGBTQ sitting at the table deciding who gets the money, then guess what? Those people don't get money. And we're missing a huge opportunity, women, BIPOC, LGBTQ communities, if we're not writing checks. And I love that you and I are so aligned on that. We need to get the forces out there and move the masses into writing checks and becoming angel investors. One, because it can be a very lucrative investment, and two, because it's making an impact on what are the future products and services, whether you're investing in angel investing or in venture capital. That is the message, is that we have to step out of just the traditional investing in CDs or the public market or real estate, which are all very important and we need to invest in. But we have to have a part of our portfolio in these alternative assets that can be super lucrative and impactful. And that's why I love what you're doing. So, yeah, continue on. We're very much aligned on this.
Oh, there are so many ways we can go from that. Most good financial advisors right now are advising 15 to 25% of your assets in alternative assets. And if you do startup investing correctly, and we'll talk about what that means in a second, that is a healthy part of a portfolio strategy. It's not high risk or a flyer or something irresponsible. It's actually part of a responsible strategy. And I think that's important to point out. Where were we? Play money came out of both my experience as an angel, because when I got into angel investing about 3 years ago, I got into it thinking couldn't possibly know enough, which I know is silly because I'm a multi-time founder, but also that I didn't have, the expertise or the capital to do it. And I heard a lot of people tell me, oh, if you get into angel, be ready to lose all your money. And let's stop for a second. That makes zero sense, right? Have you ever seen a VC driving around in a crappy car? Doesn't happen. So I dug into the math around angel investing. And it turns out, I dug really deep into the research that the chief data scientist at AngelList did. And he looked at, all 12 or 15 years of data from AngelList. And it turns out that the single thing that's most predictive of success in early stage investing is how many investments you make. It's not about this magic of company picking. So a lot about what we've been told about angel investing, that you have to have this amazing deal flow and high conviction and expertise on an area and do all this due diligence and all of these things that sound both scary and burdensome if you're living a normal, robust life and have a job or a family or sports or hobbies. All of those things don't have to be barriers to angel. Because if you can put yourself in the middle of credible deal flow, the most important thing is to make enough investments. That's a pretty profound thought if you think about it. As long as we can put ourselves in the right places, we can't pick wrong. Because in early stage investing, you don't know which are going to be the winners. But a really diverse portfolio strategy will turn what could be viewed as, high dollar lottery tickets, really help turn it into a more predictable, high performing asset class. And this was super profound research when it was published, but actually not that profound. Because how do most of us invest in public markets? We buy index funds. It's all about indexing the market. So, a little bit of the key to angel from an asset class perspective is building a diverse portfolio. I went out to try to do that on my own. I made 16 individual angel investments 1 year. And I sit in the middle of deal flow and founders all day long. And it was really painful. It was really, really hard. I had to see 20 or 30 deals for every investment I made. And so on the angel side, that was one of the triggers for me on Play Money. How can we make it easy for people to get into angel and build a really smart portfolio without having to make it a full-time job? How do we let them create the perfect angel index for themselves?
I love that. That sounds like a pretty magical formula. It's what I loved about what you're doing. So let's go through the process. They could go to Let's Play Money and sign up to be an investor in that community. And then every week they'll get a couple of deal flow. I take it that's been vetted, so they don't have to do that?
Yes. So every week on Thursday, we'll drop you 1 or 2 deals curated specifically for you. So every week you're going to either see something you love or something you can really learn from and enjoy.
Now, let me just ask you, when you say curate it for you, I take it when you sign up, you say, here's what I'm interested in. Like you could say femtech, you could say women's health care, you could say I'm interested in things that help the environment. Is that the way it works so that you match it properly?
We start off there, but really think of this as your most perfectly curated Instagram feed. So we learn what you like over time. Is it a certain kind of founder energies from the pitch video? Is it following the lead of some other folks and you have some things in common? So they like something, we think you're going to like it too. Like everywhere else in our world, we have these perfectly curated social experiences and commerce experiences. And we want to give that to Angel.
I love that. That's
so that,
fascinating.
You know, the delight when you open up your Instagram and they're like advertising like Jones Road Beauty to you and you're like, oh my gosh, the Miracle Balm, I must have it. I want every day to feel like that on Play Money.
I love
because
that.
Angel should bring that much joy.
Yeah.
Right, Catherine? We talk about it like a financial asset class. It's a storytelling asset class.
Yes.
It's a moment of joy of building the future and going along this journey with this founder. Like, this is way more interesting than public market index funds.
Oh my God, you hit the nail right on the head because, when you invest in something on the public stock market, you're never going to meet the founder. You're never going to know on a day-to-day basis or monthly basis what's going on. But to invest in a founder that you really like and believe in, and you get to go on that journey with them, maybe besides investing, you're helping them open doors or introducing them to contacts that will help build their business. That is super, super exciting. So I agree with you 100%. It's like a personalized way of investing. And so on the flip side, your program, Let's Play Money, also helps founders. So founders can come to that site and sign up to put their product or service into play there for the angels to invest in. Tell me about that part of it.
Yeah, let's like deal with the step in the middle because you asked a question before that I didn't fully answer. You said, is everything on the platform vetted and curated? And right now in particular, that answer is yes. The companies we're featuring on the platform have been backed by some form of professional investor. Whether that's an experienced angel group, a super angel, an emerging VC, an accelerator, anyone who has seen hundreds, if not thousands of companies for every check they write, and someone who has done like the basic legal hygiene due diligence, because we want to make sure this is a clean, well-lit space.
I see. So they've already been vetted by another entity that's a qualified entity. I love that.
Exactly. It's different than crowdfunding in that way, right? In crowdfunding, any founder can put their company up on the site. We are not working like that right now. Founders are coming in usually through an angel group or a lead VC, or they're coming to us and saying, hey, I've got a check from, Hustle Fund starter checks. Can I run the rest of my raise off the Play Money platform? And so if you're not a founder, what you don't realize here that's not happening is that over the last few years, the number of check writers in the ecosystem has exploded, which brings me joy, which brings you joy, Catherine. I mean, it's the best thing that happens. But put yourself on the founder shoes. You're going out to raise money and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to go. There's thousands of angel groups and individual angels and emerging fund managers, and it's overwhelming. And the real catalyzing moment for me is I had a founder in my portfolio who had gotten checks from both Hustle Fund starter checks and Charles Hudson at Precursor Ventures. And then she went on to have 100 one-on-one intro meetings with angels to close out her round. Some of those angels were writing $25,000 checks. Some were writing $1,500 checks. And it occurred to me that we at Play Money could play a role in making that process more efficient to founders so they can do the thing that really adds value, which is talk to customers and build their business. So on the founder side, like you brought up, Catherine, what we're allowing founders to do is create this amazing interactive deal memo page that can take the place of a lot of those initial one-on-one meetings. And for smaller checks, it can convert the investor right there. So it saves the founder a ton of time and a ton of energy in their own fundraising. Plus, then, obviously, it exposes them to this whole bigger universe of angels that has been building on our platform. So we can target exactly the angels that would be perfect for their cap table.
What I love about your platform is that from what I understand, it will set up the SPV for the founder. So the special purpose vehicle, I want to say what that acronym is for, so that, first of all, that could be very expensive for a founder to set up. So let's say they want to just have one line on their cap table, but they want to have several investors involved in that SPV. That allows them to have that one SPV line on their cap table with anywhere from 5 to 500 investors.
250 is actually the number. 250.
Oh, 250. Sorry, 250. So from 5 to 250, and raise whatever it is they're trying to raise through multiple investors. And they could have them through your site or otherwise, invite people to come to your site and invest in it. So I love that they don't have to set that up themselves, that you guys do that. And it's such a wonderful way to also bring in the investors who maybe can't put in, 25 or 50 or 100,000. Maybe they want to, like you said, put in 1,500 or 5,000. It's such a great way for people to enter into these investment opportunities at whatever level they're comfortable at. And so I think it's just genius. And more founders need to check out Play Money, which is letsplaymoney.com. I know it's an HTTPS site. It can be a little challenging to find. What's the best way to find it?
If you type in letsplaymoney.com, you will find it.
Oh, okay, great. Letsplaymoney.com. Perfect. So if you're a founder, you could go in there, and I saw like you let them do a video so people get to know them, put their deck in there. So everybody's got everything they need to at least start to make a decision. Some people will make a decision based on all of that. Some people might need an additional call, right? So whether you're a founder looking for funding, it could either be new investors that you find on the platform or ones you already know that want to come into an SPV. You could utilize this site for that. If you're wanting to get into the angel investment world, which I know a lot of people that listen to our podcast want to do, it's a wonderful way to get started, right?
Oh, it absolutely is. We do this amazing round of onboarding education when people sign up, sort of drip to your email inbox, depending on your level of expertise. And then every week you'll see a new vetted deal. And I know how much I learn from just watching deals. And so you shouldn't be afraid to come in if you're a first timer to lurk and learn. Actually, right now, about 40% of the people on our platform have never made an angel investment before coming to us. And so far, we've had about 30% of those folks make their first investment with us.
Wow, that is amazing.
It's crazy, right? Like first-time angels.
I think you're going to just keep picking up momentum. And
I hope so.
And there's a venture firm that's involved with this, right?
Yes, we are a venture-backed startup ourselves. We are backed by M13 Ventures in Santa Monica.
Fantastic.
So they gave us the incubation capital to get going, and then we're funded by our angels, actually.
Right.
Like, Catherine, it's so exciting. The most exciting thing we've seen on the site is people come on the site, with some level of angel experience, whether it's a lot or a little. They'll make their first investment with us. They'll make their second, and then they'll turn around and say, hey, can I invest in you guys? This is changing the way I think about angel, which is, huge joy for me, right? The best thing to have is your customers actually backing your company and sharing in the upside.
I love that.
So it's been super fun.
I love that. I just think this is ingenious. I could see how you saw that there was this issue of putting the two together in a way that came together in such a simple way instead of it being so complicated. I know you have something that tells about like how it's different than, let's say, Angel List. Do you want to explain that?
Yeah. We are very different than Angel List. And just so everyone knows here, my first startup was one of the very first companies to raise on Angel List. And back in the day, Angel List has become a site to do an SPV transaction. Someone invites you to a special deal and you click on the button to execute on the investment. we think of ourselves more as a deal flow discovery and engagement site. And so like because I'm an AngelList OG, back in the day, that used to be how AngelList worked. Like every Sunday, Naval, the founder, would send out an email, like pimping his 1 or 2 favorite companies of the week. And it created this magic. And if you were one of those companies, your phone also exploded, which was also very magic in a way. We wanted to bring some of that discovery magic back to the equation. So we're different than AngelList because we really let you discover deals. We curate them and send them to you, and then let you delve into the details on that detail, seeing the founder live, asking questions, hearing point of views from other people. And on Play Money, and this is important for founders to understand, or angel groups bringing their deals onto the platform, or emerging fund managers bringing their deals on the platform, it's a networked community. So once you are in that community, you'll see deals from other parts of the community. And if you're a founder in that community, you'll get investors from other communities. And that's really different than AngelList, which works more in a siloed way. If you don't know the lead investor and the founder, you're never going to see that deal.
Interesting.
So we're trying to network and be more efficient in that way.
I love that. And I do want to mention that you do deal with emerging fund managers because, there's more women-founded funds than ever in history. And I love that you also have those venture deals opportunities, right?
It's so fun. Do you know what's happening later this month, Catherine? We have one of our most popular deals, the emerging VC fund behind it, is coming on the platform later this month with 2 of their other deals. And we're using it as an opportunity to both highlight those 2 deals, but highlight them as a fund and expose them to more, we'll call them angels, but they view them as future LPs into their fund.
Sure.
So I think this is going to be a great place going forward for emerging VCs and sort of wannabe syndicate leads and aspiring GPs, right? Future fund managers to start building their brand and their reputation by sharing their deals and getting investors to get to know them better. That's what we're hoping for.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm working with a couple of funds that I think could utilize this as part of their investment raise opportunities. So this is incredible, Cheryl. Thank you so much for coming on. Oh yeah. What were you saying?
I'm sorry.
What were you saying?
Oh, I said, well, that's how I made my first LP investment. The first fund I invested in because I got to see the fund manager's deals because I participated in her angel group. So I got to see her deals. I got to see how she talked about companies and how she thought about investing, and it built my confidence and trust. I want to give every emerging fund manager a chance to do that without doing the heavy lifting of having to run their own angel group. So there's some method to the madness.
Yeah. No, I think it's fantastic. So everybody can check out letsplaymoney.com, whether they're a funder or a founder. And I take it, Cheryl, you're probably on LinkedIn?
I am on LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter.
Yeah.
You can find me everywhere.
If people are just listening to our audio and not watching today, it's Cheryl, and then her last name is Kellond. So you could find her on LinkedIn. Of course, me, Catherine Gray with an A. I am also on LinkedIn. You can also visit our website, sheangelinvestors.com. And we have plenty of resources there. And then also I want to mention just produced a movie called Show Her the Money. That website is showherthemoneymovie.com, so you can see where we're screening in an area near you or even book a screening. And we also have a resources page there for if you're a founder or funder. Lots of information on podcasts, books, workshops, events. So be sure to visit all of our sites. We want to just be providing our listeners with so much information and resources to help you be a great angel investor, a great limited partner in a venture capital fund. Cheryl, thank you so much for being an amazing guest today. This is just a really genius project, putting angels and founders together. Love it, love it, love it. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. I had a lot of fun.
Thanks. Make it a great week, everybody. Remember to invest in her. Take care.